She bold, she real, and she's definitely ready. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the She Bold Crew podcast. It's your girl Smiley B
and Eva G,
and we are back with another bold episode. So guys, today I have a WTH moment. I feel like it's been a minute since I've had a WTH moment.
What's it giving? Why the hell? When the hell? Where the hell?
It's given. Why the hell do people get on social media and scream and blurt all their business to the internet and be looking crazy?
And are you speaking just statuses, period, with people pouring out too much information, or lives? Because lives, that's what get me. People get on lives and just do the most.
Yeah, like...
I have never been mad enough to get on live and run it down.
I feel like the Lord just put this message on my heart. But I feel like, and we talked about this, but I feel like some things are better said or talked about in past tense. Mm-hmm. You know, the very common statement that, hindsight is 20/20. It's just most of the time, 99% of the time, better to talk about, to visit, to deal with certain things a certain way after some time has passed. Mm-hmm. We are emotional beings. Correct. As humans. That is one fact that we all know. We all have emotions. Whether we all know how to control our emotions, understand our emotions, or express our emotions, that is totally different. But we understand that we all have emotions. So I'm not saying that people don't feel a way, and I'm not saying that as humans we don't slip up every now and again and do something out of emotion. But I'm talking about the repetitive behavior of getting on social media live and just spewing all your business all over the internet, but not even thinking of how you're making yourself look.
You don't do stuff like that in the heat of the moment.
You don't do stuff like that. And like I said, even if you do it once or twice, and that should be enough to look back and look at it and be like, oh, I look goofy, I sound goofy, or whatever. But when you do it multiple times now, I'm like concerned, like what's the issue? So just to be, frank, like there's a girl that I follow on social media, and I've followed her for some time on, Facebook, and she goes live a lot with drama surrounded around her baby dad and their relationship, and then his relationship with another young lady. And it's just like, at first it was like, okay, she's upset, she's in her emotions, she's probably, a scorned woman. But then it's like, okay, like enough is enough. Like this things that you're saying, it just sounds crazy. You're saying, the man doesn't do for your kid and this and that. He's not even being the father that he needs to be. He wasn't the greatest man when y'all was together. So why are you taking the time and the effort to go on the internet to display this to probably 80% of the people in there don't really know you personally, don't care about you personally, don't care to lift you up or care about your emotions. They're just there to look at the drama. And like, what type of relief? I kind of just want to understand, like, what type of relief is it providing? Like, is it really providing you some type of relief?
Because it makes me wonder, if people like this, do you not have friends that you can vent to? Is it because you're not liking the response that you're getting from your family and friends that are hearing the story firsthand or witnessing it? Do you not like their response? So you feel like, let me go on the internet and get other people's response? Like, I'm confused. And then they don't realize how foolish it makes you look. You're on live running it down about a baby dad, a boyfriend, or whoever that you're mad at, and this is what he's been in doing, and this. But you sound foolish, because why are you accepting that?
Correct.
And then getting on here and telling the world.
And then the crazy thing about it is people will say all the time, because my thing is like, to like your kids. Like your kids, if
future relationships.
correct, if they're seeing you and hearing you do these things and act like this, what type of example are you showing your kids? That it's okay because you can't control your emotions to go and react this way, or
and I wonder all the time, like, how it affects people within their dating situations.
Correct.
Because first thing I know I do, and I'm sure anybody do, whenever you start talking to somebody or something, or you meet somebody, first thing I'm doing is looking up their social media.
Correct.
How you gonna meet a new man and he see you running it down like this about your kid's dad?
Yeah, and it just I don't think it's healthy. But hey, I could be wrong. I'm trying to like I just want to understand like what is the outcome that you're getting of this. Sometimes it's okay. I feel like we as human beings, we have to normalize being able to feel our emotions, sit in our emotions, reflect on our emotions, talk about it, and then come back to it. And sometimes once you do all the other steps, sometimes you don't even need to revisit it, and the conversation doesn't even need to be had, because now you're like, okay, I understand where I went wrong, or I understand what I could have did different, or what I can do moving forward to avoid this type of hurt or pain or confusion or whatever. And now I can move on with my life. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like that in my life too, because I can think of multiple times where I have been in situations or done things, and I'm like later on like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I could have did this, or I wish I would have said that.
Or
you know what I'm saying? It wasn't even that serious. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you react so fast, or you do certain things out of emotion, you can't come back from that, regardless of how much self-reflecting and self-awareness you got now. Because sometimes you done did so much damage, there ain't no repair to it. You get what I'm saying? Exactly. So you just gotta take it, and you just gotta move on with that. But I just I'm like,
and see, you're that person for me. I don't have to go on live and spew it all out because I call you and you just stop me from making some terrible decisions.
And you know what? It's so crazy because people kill me with the I don't care what people think about me. Everybody cares. If you didn't care about what people think about you, half the things that you did, you would not do. You would not get up out of the bed and take that extra 30 minutes in the mirror to make sure your edges is laid. You would not put on them lashes.
So you don't believe that people do that to make themselves?
I do think that people do that to make themselves look good, but I also think that people think about what other people won't think as well. Because how many times have you been somewhere and somebody came to you and was like, oh, don't mind me, I know I look a mess. You get what I'm saying? That's a sign of caring. You wouldn't even have mentioned it to them. Because you're in your mind, or if it's in your, what I'm trying to say. Like,
I'm trying to help you, and I'm trying to pull it from you because I'm trying. Back of the mind?
Yeah, like, what is it called? What's the name? Conscious. Like, that's not... You know what I'm trying to
Got you.
Y'all know what I'm trying to say.
Go.
What
Subconscious?
Subconscious.
There we go. Teamwork.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Subconscious. Damn, she could help me down a bit. Like, I'm over here like, if y'all can see me, I'm over here like, help me out here, cuz, goddamn. Yeah, your subconscious. Whether it's in your subconscious or not, you think that. You said it. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we don't even know what we're thinking until we say something or do something a certain way. But everybody cares, even if it's just a little bit, what somebody else thinks. I don't give a damn. And that's just a part, again, of being a human. That is just a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Some people care a little less because they are a little bit more confident. Some people care less because they pray about it. Lord, please, I know I do. I pray, Lord, please remove any type of self-doubt, any type of insecurities or any type of worries. Like, I pray that off of me. You know what I'm saying? But some people, it comes natural to them. But like I said, everybody cares just a little bit. So when I say that, I say when people get on, social media and people do be trying to help them out or say something like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this on live or get off live. Because I've seen those comments under people's lives. Like, get off live. Like, put your phone down, baby. Just take some time to yourself. You're not emotionally stable. Like, right now, I'm like, just take some time. Like, we understand you hurt, but just don't do this. Don't do this. You're going to regret it, And people get offended and they get defensive. I don't give a damn. Get off my life. I don't care what y'all think. I don't care what nobody think. I'm getting my point across. But
To who?
You're not.
Who does
really
your point
getting
need to get across to?
You're
Talk
not
to that
thinking
person.
about what you're saying. Because if you are, it makes no damn sense. No, I ain't talking about, like, it just is not making no type of sense. You get what I'm saying? Then you talking basically to yourself. You talking to people, but at the same time, some people ain't responding. So you really just saying things to, to the screen. You talking to your phone. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're not getting that feedback, or you're not getting any type of productive, conversation going. So it's really like, you know what I'm saying? And then you delete it later. So you do care.
Correct.
You did look at it and say...
You were just in the heat of the moment, and you were mad and went on and vented. That is not where you're supposed to vent.
Correct.
Social media is not the place to vent.
So regardless...
Embarrassing.
I'll say all that to say, sometimes things are better talked about and said in past tense. And what that means is that it's okay to go through things in real time, but react later or discuss it later. There's so much wisdom and so much understanding that comes later. You get what I'm saying? And that's what people mean by hindsight is 2020. When you in the moment, you don't see things for the full scope of what it is. But after you've healed, and after you've reflected, and after you've talked about it, and after you've cried and screamed and prayed, then you have more clarity, you have more understanding, and now you're able to move forward.
That's a word.
Amen. Okay. But yeah, so to get into the main topic of today, me and Cuz was talking the other day, because we get in our deep conversations. We talk a lot about our lives and God, everything that we are involved in, and everything that we believe and stand on. So one of the things I thought would be good to talk about is like, if you are a God, fearing person, if you're living a faith-based life, I think it's fair to say that the end goal is to salvation. Mm-hmm. And we all know that, if you've read the Bible, that, what that means is that you make it into eternal life with the Lord, and you get your final job well done. Mm-hmm. And I thought that would be good to talk on today. And I think it kind of just goes into the WTH moment too, because myself have been in situations and I've made decisions in the moment without taking the time to reflect or pray on it and consult with the Lord first. And now I'm looking back like, wow, probably should have made that decision. Mm-hmm. Probably should have made that call. Didn't consult with the Lord on that one. And I'm looking at the outcome of those decisions and those things. And then it brings concern and worry to me, because then I start to worry, well, Lord, I want to make sure that I get my job well done.
Right.
Because I don't want to do all of this just to be turned away.
That'll be the worst thing, to get to those gates and God say, I don't know. Who are you?
What he saying, baby boy? He said, I don't want to get to heaven. What he say? Turn your ass around. So, that's how it is. Like, you don't, at some point in life, you start thinking about that. Mm-hmm. And I know, well, for me, that's, true. And I always, think about that. I'm like, Lord, but, in the moment, I'm not necessarily thinking about it. But then after the fact, I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? And so with that, I've just been thinking like, okay, well, every good thing that I do or good deed that I do may not be a God deed or a God thing, or, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes we think, we might be helping a situation or helping a person. Maybe God don't want us to be helping that person or the situation. Maybe he needs them to feel what they're going through. And here you come intruding, doing what you think is best for somebody else, and really it's interfering with God's plan.
Interfering with God's plan. And so then you look back and you like, well, damn, how much help did I do? Because that person ain't even really much better off than where they was when I helped them, And so then that's when the reflection comes in, and it's like, oh, Lord, what I done did,
Exactly.
And so, a couple episodes ago, we talked about this, similar to this on the Can I Vent? And in that moment, I was going through something, and I was like, stuck in between a rock and a hard place with decision making. And y'all, I was telling cuz like I feel like I have been as transparent with the podcast. So today, guys, I'm gonna open up a little bit more and go more in detail because I felt like I was very vague, before. But before I have talked about before on the podcast how I grew up with two drug and alcohol addicted parents most of my life, majority of my life, all of my childhood really. Yeah, my dad got clean. I was already grown at the time. So yeah, my dad got clean and gave his life to Christ maybe about 12 years ago or whatnot. So yeah, pretty much all of my childhood, my parents have struggled with their own demons. And it was very rough for me growing up, pillar to post and living here. I've moved around a lot, lived with a lot of different family members, and never necessarily felt like I was, stable or where I was supposed to be. I never just was 100% comfortable with, with my life in that time, But I just kind of was just going with the flow and just going with the motion of life, honestly. When I look back, that's kind of how I feel. Like, I feel like I was numb a lot. I feel like I was kind of like in a fog. I feel like when I look back at my life in a movie, it would be like in slow motion. It seemed like things were just going probably really fast, but to me it was like slow motion, like watching something in slow motion.
Yeah.
And so a lot of things were just uncertain for me growing up, like just who I was supposed to be and how my life was supposed to be, and if this was really just my life, you know what I'm saying? And I just doubted a lot of things, and I just didn't.
Did you ever feel like, I know you said you didn't really feel comfortable, did you ever feel like not wanted?
Oh, for sure. I felt,
well, that breaks my heart.
I don't know if it's not wanted, but I felt not worthy. Like I wasn't worth, I felt like my parents wanted me in a sense, but I felt like I wasn't worthy of having good parents or stable parents. I wasn't worthy of having comfort. I wasn't worthy of having stability because
or having parents that made sacrifices for you and went out their way for you.
Correct. So I felt like, I just didn't feel worthy in that time of my life. And it was a struggle. I mean, it took a lot of therapy and a lot of stuff for me to work through, and I'm still working through it. I mean, it's a lifelong journey. It's a lot of years of dysfunction and things like that, So, yeah, of course, but I got older, I got through life, thank God.
And you excelled a lot. For you to have, went through everything that you went through.
Yeah.
Like anybody who didn't know what you were going through, I mean, you always had a smile. Yeah. You always into sports, always into activities, always laughing.
Yeah, and know. And that when I reflect, I think like that was just God. That was just the guy in me at that time. And I wasn't even necessarily in covenant with God. I wasn't in relationship with God at that time. I wasn't really praying as much, or really where there wasn't any faith behind my prayer is what I'll say. But I just was just going through life, and I just knew what I wanted to be as a person. So that I just kind of held on to that. But a lot of people that know me, they say like, if, when I let them in on a little bit of my life or whatever, they're like, no, there's no way you've been through that. Or there's no way you come from that. Like, there's no way. You know what I'm saying? You are who you are, and you've been through these things. Like, they just can't believe it. And that I don't talk about it, or that it doesn't show, or like, as much as.
And we are so the opposite when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Because I talk shit about it every chance I get.
You do.
Every chance I get.
And what I learned that I had to really work through and understand that does not define me. Those things that I've been through, the traumas that I've experienced, those things do not define me. Those are things that I went through, but those are not me. That's not who I am.
Right.
I am worthy. I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of protection. I'm worthy of consistency. I'm worthy of stability. I'm worthy for somebody to show up for me. I am. And I am love, and I know how to love, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like it took a lot of me, doing that work to get there. But it was a struggle, you know what I'm saying? But I felt like, once again, I didn't know how to talk about it. And really, I didn't really know these things yet. I didn't really understand these things yet. So that's why I say it kind of goes hand in hand with the WCH moment, because it's like now, years later, now that I've done the healing, I've done the work, I feel more confident to talk about it.
Yeah.
As to then, in the hurt and the pain, and just being like,
because you owe that to yourself and to your kids too.
Yeah.
Because I feel like my kids need to understand why I am the way that I am.
Correct.
So I need to explain, my life, my childhood, what I've been through, what I've experienced.
Correct.
So then, they can give me a little grace sometimes. Correct. Or, talk to me maybe about ways to, navigate things in a better way and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's not to shame anybody. That was another thing I had to worry. I always worried about too. Is like, I don't want my parents or people who have done me wrong or anything. Like, I don't want to shame them, because that's not my job.
Because it's so crazy. I want to shame them. I do. And I'm okay with it. Because you shouldn't have did it. You should have said it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
No.
And that's why I'm okay with getting it off my chest.
And, but I had to realize that too. And I felt like the Lord was telling me that, like, you don't owe it to nobody to hold in your truth and to hold in and your story. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I know my heart. I don't have to shame you. You're gonna you're gonna shame yourself.
Yeah.
I see that you're wearing that. I don't have to put that on you, because like I know what it was. You get what I'm saying? So,
but me, how sometimes, like, how, and I've heard this from people before, like, people who feel like their parents are delusional, or they say, because a lot of times parents don't realize that we did see and hear
or
more than they acknowledge.
The alternative, situation, or their alternative truth, like what they
their perspective,
what happened,
and so that's why I gotta add my little extra razzle dazzle of shame, just in case we don't play delusional, so then maybe they're not shaming themselves.
And I thank God for my sense of discernment, though, because I remember having a conversation with my dad about some of the things that I experienced while in his care. What? And he told me that he did not know, he wasn't aware. But I didn't have to say, because in my spirit, I knew that you did. And I know that you know. There's no way you didn't know, if you know what I mean. There's no way you didn't know. But I don't have to say that to you, because I feel it. I feel it in my spirit that you know, but you have to tell yourself you didn't know, because it makes it better for you, because you
to carry that
didn't protect me in the way that you were supposed to protect me, and now you have to live with that, because I have to live with the traumas, and now you're aware of those traumas and how they affect me. So you have to tell yourself that you didn't know, you weren't aware, and I'll let you have that.
I won't. I need an apology. I need a heartfelt apology.
Was an apology. No,
heartfelt.
There was apology.
I need you to say, okay, that happened, and I'm sorry.
No, there was definitely apologies. I won't take that, from them. There was definitely apologies, and I appreciate it. Apologies definitely help. You know what I'm saying? But I feel as though the forgiveness was there before the apology. So I don't feel like it really did much for me, in a sense of like.
So you truthfully feel like you can forgive your parents for something that they're not even admitting to?
Yes.
Because that was my halt with my issue, like with my mom.
Yes.
Like, I can't even forgive you because you're acting like you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I feel as though, once again, I just have to give the credit to the Lord, because I feel like I forgave my parents, and it was kind of like an automatic thing. I feel like there are times where I do find myself having to re-forgive them.
Okay.
Because they will do or say something that triggers something from the past. But, or something that I feel like, I told you that this hurts me, or this makes me feel this way, and you're displaying this behavior. So now I'm finding myself having to work through that, because I don't want to get angry, or I don't want to have that resentment there. But yeah, I do find myself. I definitely have forgave my parents.
Did you forgive your parents? Like, do you feel like when you were a kid, like you already knew you forgave them when you were a kid? Or are we talking like when you got older and then had kids and kind of like what
Yeah,
point do you feel like you forgave them?
I feel like I forgave them in the moment because though I felt unworthy and like I said, I felt a lot of things. There was one thing. There was one thing that I held on to just a little bit was like hope that things would change.
Yeah.
So for me, that's where I feel like the forgiveness was because I felt like I never shut the door on them completely. Like I always left a window for them, even if it was just cracked, for them to like change and be better and like be the parents that I wanted them to be or the parents that I felt like I deserved. I think the true forgiveness or like acceptance I would say was came when I learned that they only can be who they are. So though I hold out hope that they will be who I want them to be or who I need them to be to show up for me, they may never be those people. And that's where I feel like the resentment is going to always stay and you can't truly forgive them because you're holding an expectation to someone who's just not capable of meeting that expectation. So though my father is clean and he's giving his life to Christ, and I'm so thankful to be able to witness that miracle, I would say that I have accepted that he still has not and will not be who I need him to be for me as a father, if that makes sense.
Damn.
And same for my mom, and though she's still working through things, it's just like I have learned that. And I think that was really important for me moving forward to start new relationships because if I'm holding these people who've been a part of my life, who's hurt me for so many years to expectations, I'm doing the same thing to the people that's coming into my life. I'm holding them to expectations, right out the gate, and that's setting that relationship up for failure because once again, I can't hold you to be somebody. I can tell you what I expect, right? And I can tell you what I'm looking for, but I can't be like, if you don't do it, whatever. Like, that doesn't make you a bad person. It just means that maybe we're not meant to be in a relationship. We're not meant to be in connection or whatever the case may be, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But I think that was a very important lesson for me to learn with that. And so I think that that's where more so the forgiveness came from with in my childhood was like, that hope. Like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of broken promises. There's a lot of lies. There's a lot of...
So you still have expectations of your parents?
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, the expectations are no longer there. The acceptance and the true forgiveness came in accepting that, okay, these are who the people that they are, and now I have to decide how I want to deal with them, how much access I want them to have to my life, and now those are the decisions I'm making now. You get what I'm saying? Because now I've worked through that.
Since you do, both of your parents, praise God, are still alive. So do you feel like since they are your parents, do you not just feel like they automatically deserve access to you and your kids, their grandkids?
Yeah, correct. No, I don't. And that's what I had struggled with too, and that's why, therapy and talking about things and reflecting is important because a lot of the decisions I made now that I thought were God decisions were just good decisions, well, decisions that I thought were good on the strength that this is my mom, this is my dad, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is how, and so that was the expectation, and God's going to be proud of me for that. Because I'm honoring my parents. In my mind, that's what I'm doing. So, at 18, when my mom's, longtime boyfriend, she had a stroke, she lived with him. She was, stay-at-home girlfriend. He took everything. She didn't really have to do much. When he got sick and he could not take care of himself anymore, he had to go away and, live in a facility. Then here I am, 18, 19, teen mom, fresh out of high school, taking in my mom. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, this is an opportunity for us to rebuild and reconnect. And she can help me with my son. He's, they can build their relationship or whatever, whatever. But in that, she's still struggling with her, with her demons and her struggles. And I'm trying to figure out life as an adult and as a mom. And you know what I'm saying? And little to no guidance, and it just became like I started to do things and feel like I'm doing things out of obligation to,
Yeah.
And so years and years go on and I'm doing this. And now, granted, my mom has 9 kids. I'm not the oldest. And at times I wasn't the most stable or I wasn't the most, you know what I'm saying? My life wasn't the most put together, but I would not, I wasn't giving up that responsibility because I'm like, this is my mom, you know what I'm saying? And I owe her that, you know what I'm saying? I'm honoring my mom. The Lord's going to give me my job well done because regardless of what I went through as a kid, I'm still showing up and I'm still being this person. And even though it's weighing on me and mentally I'm not good and emotionally I'm not good, I'm still, standing in and feeling the role I'm supposed to feel. You know what I'm saying? And not understanding the toll it was taking on me until it just got so built up. You get what I'm saying? And so, now we're 10, 12 years later, and I had to make the decision that I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I feel like, the decisions I'm making, I'm not really consulting with the Lord in these decisions. I'm doing things out of feeling obligated. I've become a people pleaser. I've took on this savior complex.
Correct.
Like I can't save everybody. And I'm learning that. Though I can help here and there, every time I think I'm helping, I might be hindering.
Yeah.
I might be enabling. I don't know. And that's why I need to take a step back and consult in the Lord in my decisions more. And now I'm looking at my tally marks that I'm thinking I'm doing good and I'm thinking I'm up in the game. You know what I'm saying? I'm up in the game. But then I'm like, well, maybe none of that shit even matters. Maybe that don't even count no more because whatever lesson he was trying to give in that season, did I interfere with that? Did I, you know what I'm saying? Did I stop whatever he was trying to do in that moment because I thought that I was doing the right thing? You know what I'm saying?
And maybe that was finally the opportunity for your mom to experience a different type of rock bottom to where now she's in a situation to where nobody can take care of her and she has to figure that out herself, you know? Like you might have interfered with that, but you love your mom, of course, and you want to try to help.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I'm learning now is like, even, too, with my dad, there's a lot of things that I feel like, especially just out of excitement of like him changing his life around and just wanting to support him and show him like, I'm so proud of you. I'm happy for you. And, all of those things. Even when he asked the things of me, I didn't really think about it or I just kind of felt like, oh, I gotta do this or like I have to, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like really like now I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing because here I am just making these decisions based off of what I think I'm supposed to do, but I'm not really sure. And then I feel like I don't even have the time to really think about it.
And like, did you feel like you didn't want to disappoint them by saying no to certain things or you didn't want to seem like, okay.
And not even necessarily disappoint, but it's like, I feel like with my dad, I feel like he has, he struggles sometimes with his delivery.
Okay.
And I feel like he has a lot of, my dad has like a superior complex. Like I feel like he's always had that. And he has a way of like manipulating, like, you know what I'm saying? Manipulating you to feel like, or for me, how I felt was like manipulated. Yes, like I was obligated to do these things. And I feel like both my parents in a way kind of did that to me.
Oh, I
You
hate
know,
that
my
so
mom
bad.
more in a gentle way because
Yeah.
she's not like that. You know, my mom's not like straightforward with it, but then my dad is like more like straightforward with them, you know, with it. And I just kind of, yeah, just felt obligated. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, you know, after the fact, like, like this is just too much. Like, I don't, you know, like what, you know, but then if I don't do it, then what? Like, or am I, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I am in a place where I'm learning too, and I feel like the Lord is delivering me to a season where it's like a I choose me season. If and like I talked about before, in that, you know, can I vent? And I feel like I said, I was very vague, so people probably didn't understand what I meant. But like, what I was saying was that now that I'm making the decisions and I'm gaining clarity from the Lord, and I'm feeling like, okay, me no longer taking on the responsibility of my mom, or me no longer doing the X, Y, and Z for my dad. If that means that there's issue or there's distance between us, I'm okay with that. I'm accepting that.
So be it.
I'm accepting that. I'm not going to. I'm not going to carry that guilt. I'm not going to allow nobody to put that guilt on me. Put that just that weight of like, oh, I'm not a good daughter, or just like whatever those insecurities. I'm not doing that. I'm making those decisions and I'm moving forward. I don't, if that means that the relationship is severed or there's distance or the access is very limited, then I'm okay with that. Because once again, I have to understand that they can only be who they are. And if these are the things that they do, or these are the traits that they carry, and these is who they are, okay, I accept that. I still love you. There's no love lost. However, in order to protect me and my peace and then my mental health, then that means that, okay, well, things have to be limited now. Things have to be limited now.
It is so fascinating to me how we could be so close, and like just hearing how different like you handle stuff, which like it just makes me look back at how I do things, because my situation wasn't quite like yours, but I definitely had, you know, issues with my mom in particular, you know, but like I handle stuff like not gentle like you. Like I never felt like I don't owe you shit. Like the fact that I'm not a streetwalker on Sullivan Avenue right now, like you're lucky. You're lucky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I remember when my mom had to come back to live with me and it was very short lived. Your mom came back and stayed with you for, what'd you say, 12 years?
Yeah, it was about
Baby,
12
my
years
mom
on and
lasted
off.
all of 3 months. Couldn't
Yeah.
wait, came to the door talking my shit, you know what I mean? And you couldn't handle that, and then you left and felt
Yeah.
some way. And you know, it even thinking back, it's like I had to live my whole childhood feeling like I was very unwanted, feeling like not a priority,
Yeah.
feeling like, you know, men were more important than your kids were, you know, just feeling how I felt. I lived uncomfortably my whole childhood.
Okay.
And you come into my house and you can't even live uncomfortably for 3 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that, you know, you still have like a lot of care for your parents. I just don't give a fuck. Like I just did not, no care. I feel like you didn't care about me. So I don't care about you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No.
Is that wrong?
And I feel like, you know, I think that you're not quite in a place of like full forgiveness in a sense, because it sounds like, you know, you're definitely entitled to feel your emotions. But like you said, it's like you didn't do this for me, or you didn't show up for me this way, so I'm not obligated to show up for you. And that's true. But it should be, I'm not obligated to show up for you like that, because I'm just not obligated. Regardless of what you did, I'm just not obligated, because that's not my job. As a child, you know, I love you, I respect you. And like you said, that, you know, that's my job. You know what I'm saying? I love you, I respect you. You know what I'm saying? If there's a relationship there, you know, whatever. But, you know, at the end of the day, for me, it was like, that was one thing I always worked towards too with my forgiveness, was like, okay, yeah, you guys did do this to me, and though y'all don't deserve, you know, half of what I'm giving, once again, that was still me holding on to that hope. Like, okay, they didn't show up for me in the way that I needed them to show up for me, but maybe if I can show up this way, maybe they'll meet me halfway. Maybe they'll be like, oh wow, you know, and maybe it would give them more, you know, like it would give them more to put more effort. It would give them like that urge to put more of an effort to show up a certain way.
I think the biggest difference with our situations is because you sound like you had more hope than I did, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the issues with your parents were, you said substance abuse and things like that. And that wasn't an issue in my life. So I think that's why it makes me even more disappointed.
Okay.
Like, I low-key wish I could say that I was raised how I was, because this can't be who my mom is. Something is consuming her. This is not her personality. But no, very sober. Okay. Very sober.
So you're saying that you wish there was something that
I could blame justify
it on. The actions. Even though nothing justifies it. Because even still, it's still a choice to
because you always have the hope that they'll get clean.
No, I get what you're
saying. This and they'll that. Yeah. And for me, it was just this was your choice, and you stood on your choice, and that was what was more important. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so for the rest of my life, that's how I'm going to feel.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's definitely, and now you say that, and I get it. From
and I know that's a fucked up thing to say. Like, I wish that I could blame my childhood on my parents being on something. I wish I had that excuse. Like, I wish I had that excuse because it's even more hurtful. Yeah. It's more hurtful to know, like, no, this is just what you believed, and this is who you are, and those decisions, you stood on those decisions,
Yeah, I feel like too, though my parents' struggles were very apparent, I feel like what I would say is that some people they have different struggles. They may not be of sound mind. Some people don't have the strong mentality or, confidence to withhold certain things or to stand against certain things. So they may allow more things to slip through the crack or more things to pass. And it's not an excuse. And that's why I am such an advocate for, mental health awareness and things like that too, because somewhere down the line, you have to be a little bit aware of something's not right. Mm-hmm. And then with that little bit awareness, you have to make a decision.
Correct.
To seek the help or seek the treatment or seek the change. Mm-hmm. And when you don't do that, then that's like, okay, I know that though and you're aware that there's something that's not right, you're okay with it. You're okay with it.
And it's just so hard. And I know it might not be fair because everybody knows there's no rule book to how to be a good parent and all of that good stuff. But the feeling that I got when I gave birth to my kids, and just knowing how much I want to protect them, how much I want to love them, how much I want to be on their side, mm-hmm. like, it's just mind-boggling that the person who gave birth to me, I felt like didn't feel like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like how important my kids are to me. Mm-hmm. I did not. It's mind-boggling mm-hmm. to really think that person, I wasn't important to that person.
Yeah. And that's why I tell my kids, a lot of things that I do it for you guys. You know what I'm saying? A lot of decisions I make, a lot of things, I do these things for you as my kids. And so, yeah, I do. And it has made me, I feel like a great mother. My childhood also, and my experience with my parents, I feel like has also given me some things that I feel like, I've been working on and praying about as far as like, my, the connection I have with my kids and how, like, I don't be wanting them. I have, like, separation anxiety with them because I feel like if I spend too much time from them, I don't ever want them to worry about, if I love them or if I don't want them around, if I'm not thinking about them. Mm-hmm. My son just went away to camp for a week, and with the camp, they don't get to communicate with us the whole time they're gone. Mm-hmm. We can send them little notes and emails on this app, but we don't get to talk to them. And every day I made sure I sent a note or two, even if it was just say I love you, say your night prayers or whatever. Like, I do that a lot, and I feel like sometimes it's overbearing to my son, especially now that he's about to be a teenager. I feel like it's overbearing to him because sometimes I get like really anxious if I don't get to contact him. He's like, "Mom, I'm here." You know, I'm safe.
And that's why it's so important to talk to your kids about
Yeah.
your experiences and when you went through, so he can have a little more grace.
Yeah, give me a little bit more grace. But yeah, so it definitely is. It definitely crossed my mind sometimes. I'm like, dang, I wish, like my parents would have looked at me and kind of fought a little bit harder, or and it's just like, I just try to, think about it in a different light, like, okay, well, maybe it wasn't supposed to change for me. Maybe they were supposed to change for themselves, like they were who they were before they were my parents. You get what I'm saying? And, whatever they witnessed, whatever they grew up in, their lives were before me and their own traumas. So, I do give a lot of grace there. But like I said, sometimes we get it misconstrued with giving people grace and forgiving people. We get it misconstrued with allowing people to misuse us, and we gain that access kind of prematurely. And it's absolutely okay. And I'm speaking to myself when I say this too. Like, it's absolutely okay with, standing on your boundaries. And it's absolutely... and being okay, whatever the outcome be.
And it is absolutely okay for letting people lie in the bed that they made.
Yeah.
Yep. You don't get to just not provide... You don't get to not do your best.
Correct.
By your kids and then expect that y'all are going to have this amazing friendship when your kid is grown. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what that means.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay for you to deal with your consequences.
Yeah. The relationship is, molded off of, the history of it. So no matter how much you try, it's still rooted in, the hurt and the disappointment, and is you can do all the forgiving in the world. It doesn't erase what you've been through. And I think that it's important to definitely give yourself grace with that, because like I said, a lot of it just came from me just being so scared of like, like, I don't want to be a bad daughter. Just because they weren't the best parents to me doesn't mean I can't be the best daughter to them. But also being careful what I define as being the best daughter.
Right.
I pray for my parents every day.
The fact that you're not a prostitute on the street is how you're being the best daughter. That's how you're being the best daughter. Like, I could be really out here bad, okay? With the life that you gave me, I could have been out here bad, okay? So you're welcome for not being a prostitute.
You guys, if you're not a prostitute, you're great. You're great. Oh my gosh. She not letting go of that prostitute. But yeah, no, I pray for my parents every day. I love my parents. I do try to be there for them and support them as much as possible. But I do understand that in a lot of ways I've enabled my parents. In a lot of ways I have allowed them to get comfortable with...
You've allowed them the opportunity to continue to hurt you. It's how I look at it as well.
Yeah.
And to continue to...
In some ways. And to disappoint me, yeah, in some ways. And, and just... I feel like there's not enough gratitude there from them, if that's the word I can say. Yes. There's not enough gratitude. I mean, a thank you is nice. I'm not gonna lie. A thank you is nice. And I'm not if y'all don't take anything else, if y'all haven't learned nothing from me in these past 3 years of the Shiboku podcast, I am the least, like, I am the easiest person to please. I don't require a lot from people at all. I could require much more, but I understand everybody, we human beings. Mm-hmm. So I don't require a lot, Even when I had my expectations, they were very, very, like, minimal. I should say that. But a thank you is nice. But It's the action behind it. You can't say thank you for all the things that you've done, but I just need one more thing, or I need another thing.
Take stuff off of my plate, if anything.
Or thank you, and I know you going through this, but I need you to do this, and I need you. Like, that kind of just counteracts each other.
Correct, and
so
that's why you gotta say no.
But then
hell no for an extra razzle dazzle.
And so, yeah, it's just like, it's just a lot, y'all. And, I just, like I said, it's been heavy on my heart. And I just wanted to be open and more transparent because that is, what I've been going through. And I'm in the season and I'm claiming it. I'm choosing me. I'm choosing, to have peace. I'm choosing to be happy. I'm choosing to accept whatever the outcome is from the decisions that I make that I feel is best for me and my children moving forward. And I will never
they're
stop.
your responsibility. Your parents don't necessarily have to be your responsibility, but your kids and their childhood experience, like, that is our responsibility.
Yeah. And I want my job well done. I want to hear job well done from the Lord. And Eva tell me all the time, cause you making it through them gates, and other people tell me you're such a great person and you do this, you do that. But like I said, things have to be rooted, and I'm understanding that more. It just has to be rooted. It has to be consulted with, and it has to be ordered and ordained by the Lord to be counted as a God thing. So though I've done a lot of good things as a daughter, as a cousin, as a friend, as a mother, good things are good, but God things are the end all be all. And the relationships that the Lord has, placed amongst my life, even with my parents, he knew that they would be my parents before they knew they would be my parents, before I knew they was going to be my parents. So that was already written. You get what I'm saying? Can't change it. Can't do nothing about it but move on. For me, like I said, the expectations are gone, My hope now is that everyone, them, myself, my children, that we can all learn from the experience, love more and just grow from it and make better decisions moving forward.
Like, my hope would be that y'all can be better grandparents than you were parents.
Yeah.
That's the only way to really, try to, make up for it. Well, I'm so proud of you for, being vulnerable and talking about that.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people struggle with issues with their parents, even people who on the outside looking in, we thought had the best childhood, the best life. They had everything they wanted, let alone needed. And so I think that, that's another reason why we're called to even do the podcast. Like, our testimonies, like, there's a lot of power in our testimonies. Like, we're showing people that this is where we came from, and we're refusing to let it keep us in a certain place. Like, we still want the best for ourselves, and we still have hope for ourselves and high expectations of ourselves. So very proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
We teared up a couple times, y'all. We teared up a couple times.
You proud of me? Yes, because I'm proud of you. Is it? I'm proud of you. And, just for those who listening, if you are a prostitute in the street, you are still worthy. And you can make it to the pearly gates.
You can.
It's never too late.
It is not too late to change.
There's some prostitutes in heaven.
And some of their parents probably contributed to why they became the way they became.
But, God loves us all.
He does. Absolutely.
So, I hope y'all took something from this. I hope that you guys can, too, appreciate my vulnerability, my transparency on this episode. It wasn't easy, but, I felt the Lord with me the whole way, and I do feel like there could be some takeaway from it. And like I said, Eva's always very open and transparent. As y'all can see, honey, she don't bite her tongue. She don't sugarcoat it. It's just straightforward, and I just hope that, like I said, like with every segment that we do, we just pray that, it touches someone, that a word was said, that touched someone that you can learn from and help in, any way. And yeah, y'all. So let me know what y'all think. You know, y'all like the more transparent, the more vulnerable me. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm gonna give it every time moving forward. I'm gonna try.
I love
Cause
that
y'all know
for
I'm
us.
emotional, honey.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, it was a good one.
that was good.
Well, until next time, guys,
Stay
stay
bold.
bold.